Hello my dears, I know I've been offline for a little bit and will perhaps do a little video on that because I've been struggling a bit with my mental health, so I needed a little bit of a break from social media. However, today I woke up, realised what the date was and knew I needed to do a little video on Imbolc for you lovely lot as I'm trying to go through the Sabbats and teach you a bit of info that I know. So quickly for Instagram sake, Imbolc is the celebration of the start of spring, celebrated on the 1st to the 2nd of February. Imbolc literally translates to in the belly, so it celebrates fertility. And certainly at this time of year, birds are building their nests and laying their little eggs, and you can certainly feel the weather starting to warm up. Often associated with snowdrops, and when I see my first snowdrop, that's when I celebrate Imbolc. Now that is time for Instagram, but for you TikTokers and Facebookers, I can go into a little bit more detail. So I thought I'd do a little bit of research so you don't have to. But if there's anything here that interests you, it is definitely, I can guarantee, worth looking into. So as I said, Imbolc, February 1st to 2nd, in the belly, also known in Ireland or Celtic circles as Oimilk. I probably pronounced that wrong, but who cares, it's not about pronunciation. That translates to use milk. And it is, of course, the end of winter, start of spring, and the midway point between Yule and Ostara. Now, do you remember back in December when I was talking about different associations with Yule, and we talked about the Cailleach? And the Cailleach is the Celtic goddess of winter, or the spirit of winter, who, of course, goes around spreading snow and ice and all that horrible stuff. And the superstition is that on Imbolc Day, which would be today, if the weather is nice, and it certainly is up here in Northumberland, we've got clear skies and it's kind of warm, then the Cailleach is out gathering firewood to extend winter. So what's it like where you are? Is it clear skies or is it crappy weather? And it would be interesting if we keep an eye on things to see if indeed that superstition is true. But I must say, the gypsy side of myself, I do feel a lot about what's coming weather-wise, you know. And I felt quite a while ago, sort of November time, that this would be quite a short winter. So I believe the Cailleach might actually be sleeping. But then since she's associated with Ireland, perhaps it depends on what the weather in Ireland is like today. I don't know, I haven't looked into that. Anywho, so it's interesting that, I thought. So speaking of Celtic, this also associates with Saint Bridget or Breed, different ways of pronouncing that. Now she was traditionally a pagan goddess, considered the daughter of Dagda or Dada, I can't speak Gaelic, and possibly the Morrigan. And she was born on February the 1st with flames around her forehead. Now, Dada, or Dagda, her mother, was the head of the Tuatha De Danann, and I've most certainly pronounced that wrong. The Tuatha De Danann were the Celtic pantheon, that was their colloquial name. So that is very interesting to look into, I must say. And now, like I say, she was born on the 1st of February, and she's a Celtic fertility goddess. And her name does translate to fiery arrow. And celebrations we can do, and what I've attempted to do myself, but I don't have very good hands, and I haven't done one this year because, like I say, I'm a little bit behind because of trying to manage my mental health. But a nice fun celebration you can do during your Imbolc ritual is to make a St. Breed's cross. It's made of straw, traditionally made on January the 31st, but it doesn't matter if you make it now, to be honest. And it was hung in the rafters for Breed's blessing. Now, I've often said it's interesting to see where these things come from. And so being as she is now an Irish saint, and she actually has a saint day in the Christian faith, which is still celebrated in Ireland. But, you know, during that period of medieval Catholicism, they refused to sort of certify female saints. Now, I'm not actually sure, because I'm not Catholic and I don't know a lot about Catholicism, if she has been reinstated as an official Catholic saint, but she's certainly considered a saint to the Irish, perhaps the Protestants. I don't know that much about it, but it'd be worth looking into, I think. Anyway, speaking of Christians, this today, the 2nd of February, is the Christian celebration of Candlemas. And it celebrates Jesus being, obviously all those years ago, not now, Jesus being brought to the temple, and it's 40 days after his birth. So I've got to assume that was some sort of local cultural thing that they did, perhaps introducing the child, perhaps it was his name day, his birth, not birth, baptism, like they were doing Catholicism now. I'm not Jewish, I don't know a lot about the Jewish faith, but it would be interesting to know why he was taken to the temple 40 days after his birth, because it seems quite significant. But anywho, Candlemas, basically that's lighting a candle, because it was the day that, you know, like I say, Jesus was brought to the temple, and therefore I'd imagine brought into the eyes of the old Jewish God. There's got to be some sort of connection there. If you know it, please do let me know, because I'm always interested in extending my knowledge. Now, I was looking into the Norse side of things, because of course that's another part of what I consider myself to be. I'm Celtic, I'm a gypsy, I'm very much a heathen, so I follow the northern gods. They certainly call to me. And I know that way back in pagan times, and perhaps even now, they really only have two seasons, which would be winter and summer. So I would imagine the tradition of celebrating something in February, they would still be quite frozen, it would still be winter. However, I did come across the celebration of Disting, which is celebrated on the same day as Candlemas. So I've got a suspicion this perhaps is something that merged with Christianity, just as St. Breed was held on to by the Irish pagans as they, embraced Christianity. I can't think of, converted to Christianity. They held on to some of their pagan traditions. I imagine Disting is something similar, where they've held on to a pagan tradition from the past and perhaps merged it, co-opted it with Christian celebrations. Anywho, so it's called the Assembly of the Dizir, and it is still celebrated every year in Uppsala, which is considered kind of the spiritual home of heathens. So the Dizir was kind of a generic female deity, ghost or spirit, and it was associated with fate, or with the fates. So she could either be kind or she could be cruel. And I wonder if the word Dizir or Disting, well, because ting is thing or a gathering, perhaps that's associated with distaff. That Frigga waves as she works with the Norns to create people's fate, the distaff. So I wonder if that's where the word dis came from. I think that'd be interesting. Didn't look further into that, just thought I'd put that out there as an idea for you all to have a little think about. But anywho, so that is Imbolc, and Imbolc Day today, and I hope you all have a very blessed one. And if you were celebrating yesterday, or perhaps were making your St. Breed's cross on, I don't know what day it is today, on the 31st. Anyway, I hope you had a good time, and wishing you all very well. And you will be hearing from me again, because I needed to break this social media blackout, and this was the perfect thing to do it, I think. Anyway, lots of love to you all. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas, etc. And see you on the next one.